Hello, 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 and welcome to part two of the affirmative murder saga, the tyrannical reign of Big U. Man, part one was it was pretty dense, Fran. I feel like we did a good job of like laying out a timeline for the most part, but it was
Yeah.
so much to get to, and we had so many, understandably, so many tangents and anecdotes and deep talks, and I felt so good about it. I feel like we've been getting good responses to it. Obviously, this is a very topical story. It's unfolding every day. New things are coming in.
Yeah.
Is there anything from part one that you feel like you didn't like, as far as a piece of information, a perspective, a thought that you feel like you didn't get off before we move on to part two?
No, man. I think I pretty much said anything I had on my mind at the moment. See, a lot of stuff comes up, and I think this is why our show is so great. Is that we do go on tangents sometimes, a lot of times, but like it brings up good conversation. It brings up different thoughts, and it's like very thought provoking when we kind of going back and forth and in and out of the story because like shit comes up, and I go like, oh, I haven't thought about this way. I can kind of run it by you, and then vice versa for you. So it's like you know I think it's dope, and I don't have anything else that I thought of because like it's a lot of shit that's coming out now. I kind of already had that idea
Yeah.
about what was going on, and like I think most of the story that we've kind of laid out and what's being put on social media, I think is kind of the same thing. And so like if you've been keeping up, a lot of what we bringing up is not really new.
Yes.
So like us regular people don't know anything about,
Yep.
but people who's within those circles know
Understood. Yeah.
understood what's going on, but like they can't, you know, kind of put it out there. They don't know who to reach out to kind of get that word out, or it's just not their place to do something like that. But like these stories with Diddy and this Big U and some other shit, Practical Jokers has been coming out. But like it's like now it's like it's just crazy, man.
See,
It's
see
wild, man.
that's a deeper conversation. The impractical jokers thing another, once again, a conversation for another day. But it's like, in that case, as far as there's some elements of this that I don't have much detail on, but there's some trafficking involved in the Big U indictment as well. And it's
Okay.
like, I think that men get power, and with power comes abuse. Like whether it's
Yeah.
coercion, it's like, I'm in this position and I want to take advantage of
Yeah.
all of the fruits and all of the things. It's excess.
Yeah.
Oh, you like me? Well, then you must want to sleep with me. And it's like, because of the field that we're in, and I'm not going to get into, I don't know if we had this conversation before, but a few years ago we were wrapped up in a bit of a little,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
in true crime. And I have no problem talking about it because I feel like, anybody that's creepy should be weeded out. But the true crime entertainment genre has a lot of like fandom, and the idea that somebody who has been through such a traumatic thing would go up to like a person who, in their mind, helped them get through a tough time, but in that person's mind is like, no, I'm a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
But it's like, but with the thing that you're a rock star in is like talking about trauma and murder and sexual assault and all these things. So they might look at you like an ally, and you're like, nah, bro, I'm having a couple drinks at the bar, and then what I'm saying, like, it's a bunch of hot girls here, man. It's just a weird space. So like, that kind of energy is not immune to any space. Even a 55-year-old dude who like goes out and does dumb shit in public to be laughed at. That's the crit, to get that out, like to be like, I'm a rock star in that field. Like, you should be like a humble, nice person.
Yeah.
You
I
should be,
mean, we all grown adults, but to obviously some people with fame comes with whatever consensual
yeah,
things happen,
yes,
but to like you said, abuse kind of being synonymous with men having power is like you pushing them. It's like bro, I mean like you're not a rock star. I mean you're
no,
not.
no,
But like a little bit of fame is like it just go to your head. Was like, no, I'm not. I can do what I want.
yeah,
People don't say no to me. It's
yes,
like, bro, you
you're a
make
clown.
jokes. You make
Yeah,
jokes
you're
for
a
a
clown.
living, and it's like, relax.
Or you're respected. Like, just because of the idea that, and Big U's a weird example because it's the rap and the, all that, what comes along with rap, and there's a lot of degradation and taken advantage of and all these things. But like, in entertainment in general, some people might just be like, even if there's 1,000 women in front of you, they might just respect you. They not all of them aren't like
want to have sex with you.
yeah, and that's just, I think that's hard for when you get your ego involved and
Yeah, for sure.
and you feel like, oh man, the money's coming in and I'm the man and all this type of stuff. It's like who, like you said, like nobody says no to me. Like
yeah, you get it mixed up with respect and sexual
attraction. Yeah, and that's weird. But again, that's a
just because somebody fans out over you. Oh my God, you're great. Doesn't mean they want to sleep.
Yeah, they just might want to trade jokes with you or talk about how much they like how funny you are.
Talk about whatever content you put out. That's what they want to talk about.
Yeah,
have a good time. That's it, bro.
Yeah, it's
pushing. You taking it too far.
And it's like, yeah, okay. Well, do you want to come back up to my room? It gets weird. But anyway, like I said, that's a conversation for another day. I've been thinking about us doing another a town hall soon.
For sure.
So once we find a real subject that we can sink our teeth into, somebody suggested on our Patreon, if you're not a member of the Patreon, go sign up, that we do a conversation around the man versus bear in the woods conversation, but like expound upon it, not just the analogy, but like talk to women in our audience of like, explain why you picked the bear and what that analogy means to you. Because obviously it's not just like some thought exercise. There's some deeper meaning to it. And maybe we should expound upon that because so many men are like, what are you, dumb? You know how big a bear is? You know how much a bear weighs? Yeah. And women have constantly been like, that's not the point. Like you being like, do you know what a polar bear would eviscerate a human flesh in 5 seconds? It's like, that's not the point is we don't trust men. So maybe that will be a viable town hall in the future.
When we got asked that question, there needs to be context needs to be clarified in that, because if you just ask a man, that we obviously all men are saying it, we're gonna say the same exact thing.
Yes, and that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. So then if a woman comes like, no, that's not, and then you go, oh, okay, I get it. I wasn't
thinking about
naturally.
It that way. Yeah,
I wasn't looking at it that way.
I'm like, if I'm in the woods as a man, I'm thinking of how dangerous a bear is. I'm not thinking about how dangerous a man is, and that was women's point. Yeah. So possibly in the future, that might be a little town hall conversation that we have. Right. So we ended part 1 on Big U returning to LA after allegedly murdering his label talent for dissing him in a rap song while working at a studio on Big U's time and money.
Right. And this was his son's best friend, right?
This was I believe this was his son's best friend because Big U did a lot of youth sports programs in LA. His son played on a youth sports team. Okay. And this kid played on that team as well. And then he got a little older and transitioned into becoming a rapper. Okay.
So that was legit. Was that legit though? Or that was like,
I mean, we'll get into it. I have some information on that, but it was legit in the sense that he had an LLC for it and he did put on events, but there's some shady stuff involved in it as well.
All right. How about that sounds too clean.
And it ties to some big name people that we know, like big
Snoop?
Name. No. Oh. No. Snoop somehow is unscathed in all of this LA controversy. Like he's nowhere to be found.
I'm not throwing no dirt in Snoop's name. I just randomly said Snoop.
Right. And Snoop, to be fair though, Snoop is from Long Beach. Oh, okay. And Long Beach,
that's a different hood?
Yeah, California's big. Long Beach is a little bit of a ways from LA proper.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's a whole different set of politics that he's not involved in with this. So, but yeah, Big U allegedly killed Rayshawn Williams after Rayshawn Williams dissed him in a song. I tried to find the song. I could not find it, but I did find some lyrics that said something about there's this guy who makes the money, and that was apparently Big U. And if he finds out about this, he might get shot with that 38 he loves so much. He said something along those lines. Might get shot. He said something might get shot in the face with that 38 he loves so much. Rayshawn Williams was in fact shot in the face with what is believed to be a 38 caliber pistol because there was no shell cases left out of the scene. But yeah, so after this murder, or that allegedly Big U was the orchestrator of, Big U makes his way back to LA as Operation Drawdown kind of starts to take form. As I said last week, and I have some clips from a couple of Nipsey Hussle songs, or maybe just one, but Big U, one of Big U's nicknames in the streets was Big Draw or Draws. I think they were saying draws like Tommy from Martin. I got the draws. Yeah. But I don't know. Like I've
draw a gun?
Or that, right? Okay. I've heard people call them draw, big draw, but it's that California accent. So it kind of sounds like there's an L on it and I can't tell. Big draw. You know what I'm saying? So I think, but again, the operation from the feds being called Operation Drawdown just feels like that tied to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're bringing draw down or draws. We're bringing draw down.
Yeah.
So that's what, and I've seen a lot of operation names. They troll like that, the FBI and the feds. Like the federal government, when they come for people, it'll be like Operation Chopped Up, and that's the operation to go get El Chapo. Like they do that kind of stuff. They're real trolly like that. So, like I said, so this murder takes place. Big U makes his way back to California. This is in 2021. He makes his way back to LA and gets back to business as usual. What is business as usual, you may ask, Fran? Let's hear it straight from Big U's mouth.
When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. When I go places, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry, who real killers. Like who really real killers. Like if he ever find out who did that, he gonna knock everybody down. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? You just caught slipping. You know, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? And you try your best not to be slipping. And if you have the means not to, why do it? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just about, sometimes it's about respecting, you know, yourself and then trying to get home.
Again, like we said last week multiple times, I don't disagree with that sentiment. Where things get shaky is when he's saying, you know, you should care about your safety and getting home safe. When you're the person that's setting up the danger, I'm not trying to hear that speech from you. Like, man, don't you want to make it home safe, man? These streets is dangerous out here. You just check in to make sure we look out for you. But it's like, if we don't check in, you're the person that's going to be the danger. Yeah. So that's just extortion. That's not you being like, what if a mishap happens to fall upon you? Wouldn't you want to have some friends in the neighborhoods? Like, you're the mishap and the friend. Yeah. So how does, you know what I mean?
So, I mean, like, this is hypocritical, right? I mean, like,
well, he made it sound like such a helping hand. Like, you know, it's a smart thing to do. You got to have some helping. You're not from the city. You got to help, reach out to people that can help you out. But like, you're the danger.
He's the, right. But I did do some research, and I kind of want to just on that the 38. So 38 is a revolver from the research that I've done. But most revolvers don't leave shell casings. So it's not like don't. The 38 is like this special gun. It was like, no, this gun doesn't use, like most revolvers don't leave shell casings. So,
well, it must be something about that's an easy to get gun. Or there's something.
I think just because it seems like it's super compact. Small, and you can kind of just, it's compact. You can kind of just store it in your pocket.
It's not the hoodie. Fucking Dirty Harry gun.
Yeah,
with the fucking long ass barrel.
Yeah.
357 Magnum.
Yeah,
you can't pull one of those out when you're trying to, you know, you're getting in a fight in the club. You got to pull it. It's still in the leg of your pants because
your elbows like up to your head. It's like still coming out. Nah, it's crazy. You're a dangerous person. You got something like that.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Pulling out the Y iota. Yeah, see.
You see.
So it looks like you got a sword. Big U is also accused of some white collar crimes, Fran. Right, so he's accused of embezzling money from his charity to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wait, he stole from his own charity?
He stole from his own charity, which was a youth gang prevention. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So this is a youth gang charity, and I have no reason to believe that these people were being extorted, but people like Draymond Green donated to this charity. Wow. People like Shaquille O'Neal donated to this charity, and what he would do was, like, let's say Draymond Green was like, man, you're doing some great things in the community. Yeah. Here's $100,000. He'd be like, okay, bet. Now I got to feed all these fucking wolves that I've got on my payroll that go out and rob people, and I got to do all this stuff. I'm gonna take 60,000 of that money, transfer it over to myself, and then pay myself, whatever it is. Like, I'm using the money from the charity I'm using it, you know. And technically, that is how charities work. Like, the charity pays out employees, and sometimes the employee might be the person who runs the charity. But taking $80,000 and taking all 80 from the charity and just putting it in your own personal bank account, that's not how it's supposed to go. Yeah. But he's accused of doing things like that. So Shaquille O'Neal's like, yo, I saw you on that podcast. I hear you doing good things for the kids. Here's $200,000. He's like, all right, bet. I just made $200,000. Let me go ahead and put that in my pocket. And right on.
That's crazy.
All the while he's like, man, we got to get these kids off the streets. And I'm not, the thing is like,
This dude is a liar though.
I think hypocrite is the word I like that you use, because there is some
Because
dichotomy here.
he's
like,
praising. I mean, like you, when you you can't
he's a
go
liar
out
too.
here and
He's a
go,
liar too. Yeah.
hey man, look, my goal is, trying to get these people to the street, boom, 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 and then, but this is all a lie. This is all, you like you said, you're extorting people. You're doing this to lie to people in their face to get money, to go like, hey man, to persuade people to go like you said, Draymond Green go, I love what you're doing, man, looking out for the kids or whatever, and they send you this money, and you go, got you,
Yeah.
and then you fucking split. Like I don't even think this dude, he's not even being smart with it. It's not like you splitting it in half and keeping it, half the charity, but like you got money, but like you take a little bit, take a little 10% or something. 5%.
Yeah. No, he's like, no.
He's like, no, I need all of this.
That's my money.
Yeah. No, man, you can't go out here and be preaching something. Hey, man, look, we got to get the kids off the street, and then you're
running a full murder operation.
You have murderers on the payroll and paying them money. Whereas, like, if you paying the money to them, it's like, oh well, this is my job. This is not a payment for like, okay, this is where you stop. It's like, no, this is how I get my money.
Yeah,
what's next? What do you need me to do next?
I'm a full-time gangbang. I get paid to gangbang.
What?
And you think the kids aren't seeing your henchmen that are driving around in Hellcats and all this shit? And they be like, what do you get this money for? I work for Big U. Doing what? Oh, I rob the shit out of people. They come into town and we just go ahead and collect that check-in fee.
For a scat?
Yeah, it's like, and the kids are like, that's what? But see, and this is the scary part. Like this, again, it's all allegations, right? We can't prove these things. But if Big U's running that kind of operation, what's to stop these other young kids from starting up their own operation and going and rob the rappers that they like?
Yeah.
That might not be Rick Ross or the Drake. Not that Drake's not tied up in this, but I'm just saying all of these Rolling Loud guys, like all these young rappers that like are streamers.
Yeah.
That the kids are tapped into. When they know, Big U doesn't know. I mean, he might know like Kai Cenat, but like there's a bunch of these kids are getting money.
They're getting money.
These streamers are the new rappers, and these kids in LA,
crazy.
20, 23 years old, they're watching them and they're like, yo, Duke Dennis is coming to LA.
And they wait until you slip up.
Yep. So while Big U is extorting these big time and legendary acts and stuff like that, these young guys might be coming up and being like, yo, when Duke Dennis and the A&P guys come, we're going to tell them, hey man, you want to be safe, right? We know where all the fun stuff is. Some good places for you to stream. Just give us 5,000. It's all little, like it's incremental because we're not Big U. So we asked him, just give us like $2,500. We'll hang out with you, make sure you're safe. I'm not saying I know this to be true, but I'm just saying when you grow up and you live in a neighborhood, you watch the guys that got the money. And in this neighborhood, in South Central, the guys that got the money are the dudes that are tied up in this indictment, guys that are robbing people and robbing rappers and all of this type of shit. So why wouldn't you come up and do the same thing? And then just give your cut to Big U.
You write around money like that, you have your own security.
You got to. I'm not paying some fucking, what?
I don't even know this person. You paying somebody, I don't even know you. How can I trust you?
Big U's not saying I'm the only person that can rob rappers. He's just saying if you rob a rapper on your own, make sure nobody gets money in this city without me getting a cut. Is Big U's motto.
Yeah.
So if he's influencing, they hearing, yo, Big U gets all this money, man. He comes in, anybody that comes here check in, it's like, I bet every young gangster dude is on check-in time. If I find out you're in my city and you moving around in places and whatever, I'm gonna come see have you talked to anybody? Because you gotta talk to somebody.
But
why not let it be me?
But is it strictly rappers though? This is why.
Of course, it's all rappers and entertainers who want to be rappers. So like Tom Brady don't got to check in. But like Deshaun Jackson,
he's not gonna
checks in.
He's not gonna be in the areas though. That's another.
Exactly. So like Deshaun Jackson probably checks in. I would imagine like a Nick Young. Nick Young probably has checked in a couple times. But you want to be outside. To me, outside doesn't have a certain look of like where I would need to do this. I'm like, is it drinks there and we're having fun? Then I don't need it to be like in a certain neighborhood and I don't need to go where.
Yeah, but if you're a big name like that, you bring the fun. You bring the fun to you. You bring the fun.
Could be anywhere. The fun could be anywhere. I don't understand. It's like, no, I got to be in the mix in the hood. Like I need the hood with me. Because that's another part that we didn't talk about. I don't know if we did. Like they might be bringing the Bloods and the Crips to Beverly Hills. Like, yeah, no, I want y'all to just be my entourage. I like to move. I don't want to move with dudes in suits and like earpieces. I want to move with dudes. I want it to look official.
Well, now you stunned.
Yeah, but like stunting with like you want people to be intimidated by you when you walk into a room and you
Yes.
got 30 goons with you, and
Yeah.
these dudes may be goons, but they're not your goons. They're like, I'm here, but I'm here because I'm being paid to be here, and it's free bottles, and
Unless they're your homies.
this chump is buying the bar.
Well, unless you grew up with these dudes.
But I'm saying that's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about people that I came into town, and I don't want to say a bunch of names, but from what I hear, I'm sure Chris Brown can fight, but it is very much alleged that Chris Brown has been living in LA for a long time, and he might get to throw up all these sets and everything like that, but they are charging him like a Hulu account. Like, yeah,
Really?
okay, yeah, no, yeah, Chris Brown, you from the set and all this stuff. Yeah, he's from the hood, but he makes sure that they get what they need every month. For allegedly, that's what I hear.
He's not even from LA though.
He's from Virginia, exactly. So that's what I mean. Like, of course, for us, but I feel like this Big U indictment makes people realize a lot of things. It's like, why wouldn't we be like, man, Chris Brown sure does look really comfortable in LA. I know he's been there for a long time, I'm sure, but like, he's not from there. Why is he walking around with a red flag and all this type of stuff? Obviously, Chris Brown has been in front of our face since we were kids.
Yeah.
Chris Brown, I don't know, joined a gang as a mascot or something like that in his like 20s. He's not from the set, but he gets to run around LA in like a red Lamborghini and say the craziest shit in the world. I think he says blood.
Does he?
I think if you watch some Chris Brown videos, he might let a blood slip out. And that's because he pays. And they're probably his friends now. Because, of course, why wouldn't I say Chris Brown is my friend? But he also makes sure they get paid. And that's some extortion is a little bit more forceful. Some extortion is like, nah, man, we're all cool. And you're cool with being extorted. Because what you get in return is when you make a phone call, you go, yeah, man, these dudes are tripping on me up here. 30 dudes will come immediately. It's like being a member at Costco for a long time. You get certain perks everybody else don't get.
Yeah.
So the guy that come in, he just came in LA, got extorted one time. It's like, man, yeah, thanks for the money, man, you bitch ass. And they roll out. But like, you've been getting extorted for a decade. No, man, you're a long time customer. We really are friends at this point. I still need my money.
Yeah.
But we really are friends at this point. But I still need my money.
Part of your budget, huh?
Yeah, the extortion fee.
Extortion fee.
Yeah, and make sure that come out every month.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's a business. Yeah.
Is it I guess it is a business. There is a service being.
There's an exchange of goods. There's an exchange of services. There's an institution to it. Like, this is not like one person is doing extort. This has been something that's been going on for decades.
But like, you paying the extortion fee for like a part-time service, something you don't even use all the time. Like, how often are you in the hood though? Like, you paying $15,000 for something I use maybe once a month? It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I guess these people make tons of money, so maybe that's nothing. But like, to a regular average Joe like myself,
yeah,
I'm like, that's a lot of money for something.
It's like having a lawyer on retainer. You're not going to court every month, but
don't you pay a lawyer for like when a case or like when something happens, or they just on payroll?
If you have a lawyer that's your lawyer, you keep a lawyer on retainer, and especially if you know you do crime. You like at any time of the day, night, if I need you, you pick up the phone because I pay you every month. You're retained.
Like
That's
insurance.
Like insurance. So back to the story. So on top of extorting and robbing entertainers, both in the streets and from behind a desk, Big U Enterprises was also involved in some classic business.
Is that like his LLC name?
Big U Enterprises. He has Big U Enterprises and Unique Music.
Unique Music, yeah.
But Big U Enterprises is the umbrella that encompasses everything.
Got you.
Yeah. He was also involved in some classic shakedowns, like we talked about, friend, like movie, like stuff you see in like episode of Family Matters. They come in and they're like, man, sure, it would be unfortunate if your hot dog stand met an unfortunate accident. You should pay us some money to protect us. It's like, no, I'm okay. You come back, it's like spray painted, fucking get out of here. Windows broken. They were doing shit like that too. That's classic shakedown. That's like classic mob stuff.
Yeah. The
neighborhood pizzeria. Like, I get money from everybody. So Big U was terrorizing this weed dispensary.
Okay.
He was taxing them. He was taxing them upwards of $25,000 a month for a protection fee. Right up until the dispensary was like, well, we're not really able to, like, what are we getting from this? And we are barely like making money because we have to pay them all this money. So they decided to not pay. Allegedly, Big U sends a a crew of his guys, one of them including who is known as Loose Cannon in this indictment. Loose Cannon is one of the guys that went to the dispensary, took everything, wiped out the whole dispensary, took all the wares, the money, everything, and took everything to Big U's house.
So I would assume, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had to.
No, it's okay.
I'd assume that there isn't any white businesses in this hood area, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But I would assume a white business would just call the police. I don't know why this business wouldn't.
Or they would have just avoid that business.
What are you saying? That they're probably scared of white people?
Or they can just extort black people with fear.
Yeah, that's a deep conversation, man. I don't think that the business owner was white. I don't know the ethnicity.
I'm not talking about this. I'm just talking about
in
any
general.
Just in general, any.
I don't think that there was
any,
an. I don't think there was an Erewhon. I don't think there was an Erewhon that they were extorting.
You can't pick and choose. You know,
a yoga studio.
You pick and choosing and on what businesses because some people are black or what. It's like because it ain't gonna because that wouldn't go far,
man. We live in a small city, right? And you could throw a football from where the Freddie Gray uprisings happened to this neighborhood called Hamden. Mm-hmm. They keep it's thrift stores and just all kind of storefronts. They keep the shit on the curb. It's like beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a bin of clothes. Like, you can pick a sweater and come inside and pay for it. They didn't do nothing different. It's a white neighborhood. They didn't do nothing different. The neighborhood, it's shit burning. You can see the helicopters in the sky. It's 4 miles away. They didn't do nothing different. It was almost like they knew. Like, they're not going to come here. That's crazy to me. People upset, angry, all this type of shit. They knew not to come there. So I don't know. That's a mentality thing. I don't know. I don't know what that was or what it is. But yeah, it's like, we're angry, but like we still know the lines. We know where the streets, what streets not to cross over into and bring this shit into. It was crazy to see. Yeah. It was curfews and everything.
And if you ever come to Baltimore and like able to like really drive around the city, I mean, it's so clear of like, oh, this stops here, and it's crazy, man.
It's like weird training. It's like it's like training. Like you could go from like a neighborhood where the houses cost $800,000, make a left and a right, and you are in a neighborhood where people are nodding out right there on the street, and it's like, but you don't hear about break-ins in this neighborhood. That's the left and the right away, but right here, it's like you would never want to buy a house in this neighborhood, but then it's $1 million homes just 50 yards away. Yeah. And I don't really know what the mentality, I don't understand where it's like, we don't rob those houses. It's like, but it's probably not advocating for it. I'm like,
right.
It's probably big screen TVs and jewelry and everything. It's like, nah, but it's not worth the price you got to pay if you get caught. They're going to make an example out of you.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
But anyway, so Big U calls this weed dispenser runner up to his house. And he comes in, he sees all his wares, the weed and everything. He's like, yeah, you can go ahead and take it back to the store, but I need my money. So I think he charged them a little bit more that time. So if they take $25,000, it's like, I need 30 for you even making me have to snap my finger this way. And then we gonna get back in line. And then I need my payment back on time next month.
That's a lot of money, man.
No, he
that's a weed dispenser. He's not making that much money a month.
In California?
Was 1,000, millions of them?
You can walk into 7-Eleven and get some weed in California. It's like and good weed. You can get some good weed anywhere in California. So it's like, what are you doing that's special as a dispensary that's getting you $25,000 a month? Maybe nothing. Maybe that's just how much people buy weed. But still, $25,000 a month is insane. The way I used to go buy weed in like a giant parking lot, a grocery store parking lot, and like was scared.
You did?
Yeah.
You doing drug deals?
No, when I was like 16.
Oh.
But yes. Yeah, I used to go scared. Yeah, I used to go buy drugs scared in the parking lot. Like, oh, here's the 20. Eyes all bugged out for some weed.
For some weed. Some Reggie.
Yeah, oh man. Some East Coast hemp weed.
Grass? They eat some grass.
Got faked out. The dummy. No, but this is interesting, right? Like, so the owner of this dispensary actually ends up getting flipped as a cooperating witness. right? And in 2022, federal agents were able to get this person along with a couple other people, I believe, but definitely at least this
To
person.
tell?
Not to tell, but to do what they called controlled extortion payments. So, they do like controlled buys. The agent comes in, is like, you got the weed or you got the coke? I got the money. Then you make the exchange and they come in and bust you.
Mm-hmm.
They wired this guy up and then sent him in to be like, hello, Mr. Eugene Henley. Here's your $5,000 extortion payment monthly, like you say. And then he gives the money to them. And then he's caught on camera extorting people.
Good.
Right. So
I'm cooperating. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, man. So as soon as they came knocking, they're like, we're with Operation Drawdown. He's like, big draws? Yeah, whatever y'all need. Fuck him. Take him down.
Yeah.
So this, along with a lot of the things that we laid out in part one, eventually led to just, I believe on the 19th of March, them going and busting everybody on the evening of that night, right after a podcast. Big U and Brick Baby and Loose Cannon were on a podcast on No Jumper. They leave the podcast, they go arrest everybody. It's like it was the way it was uniform. It's like they arrested everybody at one time. They got like 19 people, wrapped them all up. A sweeping arrest all across the city. And that leads us to where we are today, where there's more evidence coming out. But Big U is he turned himself in. He put like a 10-minute video up
I saw that
on YouTube, basically saying everything's a lie. And he really got into like the embezzlement part of it, where he's like, my charity, man, I would never steal from my charity. He didn't really argue about anything else. But he was, I can't believe they saying this, man. And if you going along with this, man, you're not black. He did all this shit and everything we're talking about.
In the Sprinter.
Like, in the Sprinter van, talking about, if they always trying to bring the black man down, all this type of stuff that people go to, where it's like,
that's wild to say.
Bro, you are a
when you're extorting black people, is crazy to say. That's wild.
You need help to your community. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are a cancer to your community. You are leading with intimidation. Like, people don't respect you. They fear you. And that leads us back to, we're going to go back in time to 2019, to Nipsey Hussle is on top of his game. He is still grinding, and allegedly, from what I've been able to gather, Big U and Nipsey Hussle started working together around 2008. He signed Big U signed Nipsey to some kind of a joint partnership. It was a 10-year contract.
Which is crazy. Yeah,
it's insane, right? So it was a 10-year contract, and over that time, Nipsey Hussle did everything the right way.
Yeah. It was like a 10-year contract and like 25 or like 35% or something.
Yeah, something insane, right? A very unique contract, right?
A unique contract. I mean, like in the interview he did, who was he? I don't know who he was talking to about that contract. He was like, yeah, something to like a 10-year, whatever it was, the deal. And it was like for like 25, 35%, something like that. And he was like, hello. Like, I got over it.
I don't have the clip, so I'm glad you brought it up. When he said hello, one, it was, like I got over on him, but it also was like, and the contract would have been up in 2019.
Yeah.
Which is the year that Nipsey Hussle died.
Yeah, hello.
So when he said it, it was like, isn't that a coincidence? That's crazy. Like, he died right before the contract was up. Which, I mean, if we're talking about motive, the idea that you have an artist who's about to he's about to go to the next level. Nipsey Hussle was Nipsey Hussle, but he had just been nominated for a Grammy for Victory Lap. He was clearly about to like ascend.
He was still ascending, yes.
And so your contract's up. He's going to go renegotiate or go fully independent without this fucking weird extortion thing that he's got going on. Get you from under his, I'm out of the contract. Yeah. And he just so happens before you're never going to get a dime from this big major cash cow again, he turns up dead. And you go, right? That's weird, right? Right after, right before he's supposed to go off and never pay me another dollar again. He never has to do he never does anything again. That's crazy, huh? Weird. Hello. Weird.
Hello.
Huh?
Yeah. But yeah, but do you think that's something he learned from a particular person?
I think that Big U makes a lot of assertions, right? Big U made an assertion that, so this is,
I want to know where you go, because I want to know if you caught what I was saying, but go ahead.
I think so, and I might be wrong.
Okay.
But so Big U asserts that, so Big U was locked up all through the 90s. His assertion is that Suge Knight, who ran Death Row Records, would not have become what he was if it wasn't for the LA riots. Now, follow me on this.
Okay.
His assertion is that after the LA riots, LA was so peaceful because of all the shit that happened. Everybody came together, that all the gangs were even cool. And in that, basically Suge Knight was like, yeah, man, come over here. Like, we're just trying to get money. We're doing it for the city, for LA. So he had Crips on his label. He had Crips working for him, but he was pushing blood. So he was able to grow his blood empire while everybody was being like, but we're all just cool. And then one day flipped the script and was like, no, I'm taking over everything. And kicked off crazy violence and wars, because it was like, oh shit, we let this guy get too powerful. And now his blood set is the biggest thing in the city. And he's got Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
Because he was like taking people from other gangs and kind of getting them to join his.
Giving them record label, giving them record contracts and everything. He was basically being like, I'm for everybody. Yeah. Now I know I got this big red flannel on, and I know I got red drop top cars, and I know what I am, but like, we're all cool. And he lulled everybody to sleep. And then one day you turn around and Suge Knight got his grab bag out and is like extorting the whole city. And Big U's claim is that would have never happened if I wasn't locked up. So I think Big U is tied in enough to be like, I see the play, I see what he did, and I'm way tougher than Suge Knight. I think it's Big U's mentality. Because I'm just gonna do the same. I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
He came out and he did the same thing. He's putting people under 10-year contracts and extorting people and all this crazy shit. Now, did I not go where you were?
No, I was talking about Diddy.
Oh, well, did they have a connection?
I thought that's what the rumor was. Conspiracy of him and Biggie.
Big U?
That was no Diddy and Biggie. I thought that was like the conspiracy.
Yeah,
I thought that's
I got
maybe
you up, like the artist wants to go away from you.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly, bro. Biggie died in LA. I'm not saying Big U had anything to do with that, but all of this stuff is, if something like that, if the official story, which we've never gotten into, and maybe we will someday, of like the murder of Biggie Smalls, but if the behind the scenes story is true about how that went, there's no reason that every gang in LA doesn't know about what happened to Biggie Smalls and goes, damn, yeah, that's how it goes. Like, either you're making money with me or you're not making money at all.
Yeah,
that might be the mentality of a gang tied producer, manager, whatever it is. Like, no, I'm cool. Yes, this is my artist, and either you're my artist or you're nobody's artist. And that's alleged when it comes to Nipsey Hussle, but we will continue to move forward, right? So, Nipsey Hussle continues to grind. He meets up with Big U. They form some kind of connection and sign this contract. And Nipsey goes on to become known for all this like prolific music and being advanced in like technology and hustling in South Central Los Angeles. He invested in all these businesses that were aimed at like science, technology, engineering, and math and education. And he was a brilliant guy. And then he's killed in March 31st of 2019. Now, 2 years prior to this is where I want to start, right? So in 2017, Nipsey Hussle disses Big U. Big U decides he's going to pull up on Nipsey Hussle for a DP. And this is where I think this was the line that was drawn in the sand that, in my opinion, eventually led to Nipsey Hussle being killed, if we're going off of what the rumors are, right? So Big U pulls up for a DP. What Big U will say is, or has said on podcasts, is him and Nipsey got in an argument about some studio equipment. And because they got an argument about some studio equipment, Big U came, took the studio equipment. The rumor is Big U was extorting Nipsey Hussle on top of taking money from his projects, but he had to pay Big U something like $20,000 a month. And then at some point, Nipsey Hussle was like,
sweet spot, ain't?
Yeah, it's like, it's not too much, not too cold. It's like a perfect bowl of porridge. But at some point, Nipsey was like, I'm not paying this shit anymore. So Big U was like, what? Okay, I'm coming to get all your studio equipment. Like, basically, like, I'm taking this shit from you and holding it ransom. And I'm going to beat the shit out of you. So they come there to go beat him up. And his brother, basically, they wanted to put him in a car. Again, I'm hoping people remember from last week, but I'm going to connect the dots anyway, so it doesn't matter if you don't. When Rayshawn Williams dissed Big U, they came and got him, took him out of his Airbnb, put him in the car, drove him out to the desert, killed him.
Yeah.
Right. So Big U was telling Nipsey, we're going to put you in the car, bro. We're going to take you to get this DP, which is basically he's saying we're going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. It's like discipline or something, right? I mean,
yeah, it's discipline. It's discipline. Yeah. You disrespected this. You disrespected the hood. We got to discipline you. And Nipsey was saying, all right, man, as long as y'all not going to kill me, if we just running fades, that's cool. I'll get in the car. And his brother was like, y'all not putting my brother in any car. Yeah. His brother was basically like, I know about Big U. Y'all not put my brother in a car. I don't know where you're going to take him. And I don't believe whatever you're saying. Like, it's just going to be a fight. So they start getting down right there. So Black Sam couldn't get Big U off of his brother. And Big U can fight. He's a big dude. So Black Sam goes in the house and grabs a gun and shoots one in the air. Mm-hmm. So that kind of breaks everything up a little bit. And the police respond to the gunshot and arrest Black Sam. Yeah. And they kind of ended the beef in that moment. But then there was tension from then on. Right? But their relationship continued because he's under contract. He's still Big U, and Nipsey Hussle is repping Rolling 60s. Mm. So you can't really rep Rolling 60s and be against Big U. So you kind of got to still play ball. Now, I don't know if he was still paying him the $20,000 after this day. I don't know. Maybe he made it right, but him and Big U were still hot and cold cool, but him and Black Sam were not. Yeah. So basically, the rumor is from that point on, it was like the gang was trying to pull Nipsey from his brother. His brother's trying to pull Nipsey from the gang. And it is believed that, again, during this time from 2017 to 2019, Nipsey's starting to ascend. His music is transcending outside of LA. He's in Meek Mill, Drake music videos. He's getting Puma endorsements and all this. Yeah. His star is starting to be noticed by more people. He's got one of the most legendary women as his girlfriend in Hollywood, as far as black Hollywood, Lauren London. His profile was rising, and his profile was becoming bigger.
I saw a recent video where it was like, they always say that you're not supposed to get bigger than what do they say? You never get bigger than the program. But like he was though. It's like, and then these kids were looking up to. Did you say this? You might have said this.
I might have said this, but
yeah, because I know I heard it somewhere.
I saw it in an interview as well.
Yeah, where it was just like kids or these other fellow gang members was looking up to Nipsey. He comes through. He pull up in the fucking Rolls Royce Cullinan, and then you got, again, like you said, Lauren London as your girlfriend, and everybody like, no, I want to be, Nip. Nip is who you inspire to be, not Big U. And then he's like, nah, Big U was like, nah, we ain't having that.
Nobody's bigger than the program.
No, I ain't having that.
But all it is, that's just hate. You can call it that if you want, but that's just hate. Now, I do want to play another example, because this song actually comes out after this diss song. And at first you might think it's a shout out. But to me, in hindsight, now that we know what's taking place, I want you to just listen to these lyrics, because I just find it interesting. He kind of was telling you in front of your face, like, this is not a good dude.
Look, I don't give a fuck what you niggas done. I don't give a fuck where you niggas from. Or you in your mouth, go and get a gun. Then you slumped on the scene, that's a hit and run. Oh, y'all bloods now, oh, y'all Crips now. Fuck it, I'm Big Draws, I'm Jay Prince now.
So right there, it's a little bit more I want to play, but he's saying, oh, y'all in the gang? Well, fuck it, I'm Big Draws. I'm Jay Prince. I'm gonna take your money now. Like, oh, y'all want to claim this? Okay, cool. Well, I'm Big Draws. I'm Big U. That's who Big Draws is.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all Bloods, y'all Crips. Okay, cool. Well, I'm Big Draws. Y'all know how I get down. Give me.
And who was that aimed towards?
Big U.
Big U. Okay.
But you might see it as a shout out if you just not pay. And if you don't know who, up until this, I'm like, I don't know who Big Draws is. You might not even pay attention to it. But Big Draws knows who he is.
Yeah.
Now listen to some more of the lyrics.
Line wars we can't fix now. Boy, latex gloves, that's no prince now. If you broke bread, you got chip now. Couple things you can't buy inside this town. Loyalty, love, and respect. The niggas will extort you out your check. That's you lames, cause I'm sucker.
So right there, he's letting you know, you can come to this town, you can spend some money, you can buy protection, but you can't buy loyalty, love, and respect. You can't buy people really looking out for you because they fuck with you. So you can come to LA, you can spend your money, and all this type of stuff. But all it is extortion, because these dudes will extort you out of your check. And by these dudes, he's saying big draws.
Yeah.
He leads with, y'all bloods, y'all. Again, listen, I'm not saying this is going to get to Chris Brown, but I'm not trying to use Chris Brown as the example. But to me, that whole stanza right there is about Chris Brown. Oh, you're okay, Chris Brown, you're a blood? Okay, cool. Well, that's cool. You got to pay them, but you can't buy going to elementary school with somebody and y'all got put on the gang at the same time. You're just paying to be in the association.
Yeah.
You can't buy the love, loyalty, and respect, but they will happily extort you. So I hate to keep using Chris Brown as the example, but he kind of, to me, who comes to mind, where it's like,
so you essentially you buy your way into a gang instead of you being
instead of earning your
homegrown.
stripes.
Instead of earning your stripes. You from the hood or whatever, you grew up there, you kind of move your way up.
Mm-hmm.
But since you got the money you can go like, hey man,
you can jump the line and claim it and be super loud about it. People accuse Lil Wayne of this. People say Lil Wayne didn't become a blood till he was like 25 years old, and he just paid to just say he paid to say I'm a blood. And then he became one of the most influential rappers of all time, and had people in Baltimore saying they were blood because they listened to Lil Wayne music.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Lil Wayne's influence should be studied
for sure.
It's crazy how many things he influenced. But yeah, no, I just wanted to play that because I was like, this is post what I just said. Black Sam shoots a gun in the air. Big U pulls up on Nipsey Hussle to DP him for dissing him in a song and also not paying him his extortion fee anymore. Fast forward maybe a year, a couple of months, he drops Victory Lap, and this song is on the album, and you go, you might, if let's say you're from LA and you go, I know who Big Draws is, and sounds like he's shouting out the big homie, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe he just saying like, man, this motherfucker's a crook. He's a crook. He extorts people. He's an extortionist. But you just hear, big, how you hear your name in a song. Like, it doesn't always mean it's in a nice way. But he said the shit so slick and he was so intense on the microphone that you're not thinking about if it's a diss or not.
So why he mentioned Jay Prince though? Because
Jay Prince is accused of being the same kind of guy. Like Jay Prince's protection was being
that
used
was Atlanta
when Houston. And it was being used when Takeoff from the Migos was killed. His son was in charge of that situation. They went to Houston and they paid the Prince family to look out and take him around and all this type of shit, and Takeoff ends up dead. So Nipsey Hussle died before Takeoff, but all of this shit is known. This shit has been happening for decades, and Jay Prince has been a guy that's like, you come to Houston, man, you check in, and you know what I'm saying, I will look out for you, make sure you're safe and all this type of shit. So he was saying Big U and Jay Prince the same thing. They're the same kind of guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm paying you I just don't. That's crazy.
And like,
pay a fee to be protected, and then somebody ends up dead. That's wild.
Paying a fee to be in the most like precarious situation, like you riding around in the car, they got guns under the seats, and the guns are not. You don't want to get pulled over in a situation.
Yeah. And
you're worth $5 million. You riding around in a car with a guy that has an illegal gun on him. Why? But again, it's like, I'm a gangster rapper. I can't be seen riding around with the police. I find it to be crazy. I just find it to be insane. Like, because to me, listen, this is not a music podcast, but people can say what they want about Drake and his lyrics and whatever the thing. He lost the battle and all that type of stuff. When he's rapping like, man, I'm riding, we five black trucks deep and it's bulletproof. I'm in the middle. He's talking about moving like a boss, but he's not talking about
president.
Like a president. Like I'm worth $10 million, and I move as such. And so I don't know if it's because he's half Jewish, or because he's light skinned, that he gets to be like, oh I have police with me. Like he gets to say that, and it sounds like a flex.
You can afford that though.
I guess so, but like there's plenty of people that can afford to have like a police escort, but
not like that.
You can't. It looks bad on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it looks bad for you to be like, oh, I just pulled up, 12 of Chicago's finest just brought me to my show.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's what I mean. But
can't rap about certain stuff, and then you got to live that life.
I need
20 dirt bikes. Labels push that too.
That's, hey, hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
They love the beef. Somebody gets killed. They signed you to a unique contract as well. A lot of these labels got unique contracts.
Yeah.
They sign you to a unique contract. You die. Posthumous album comes out.
Yep.
Now you just making money. Oh man, money. We gotta. Yeah. Oh man, hear the last songs ever recorded by this rapper, and we'll give 10% to their mom, maybe.
10% is wild.
Yeah. And we own this in perpetuity, and we're going to play it on Fortnite for the next 30 years, run the numbers up.
Crazy.
Off of a dead man's voice.
I know this ain't like gang related, but shout out to Prince. Rest in peace, Prince, man. He's like, when I go, that is it.
Don't put my shit on anything.
Nothing.
Nipsey Hussle was tragically killed on March 31st of 2019, outside of his clothing store, the Marathon, that he established in the same parking lot that him and his brother used to like sell T-shirts out of. They bought the whole lot. This amazing accomplishment right there on Crenshaw and Slauson, in his neighborhood. It was the staple of the community. This dude gets killed by a guy named Eric Holder. Now, there's no connection here other than they know each other. But Eric Holder,
go ahead.
Eric Holder also went by Shitty Cuz, right? You know who also went by Shitty Cuz? Brick Baby.
Yeah.
Brick Baby was cool with Eric Holder. They were friends. They were all from Rolling 60s. Eric Holder became a smoker. He got addicted to drugs. So he wasn't put off the set, but he just kind of, he still is in the gang, but we don't really he's not respected as much, right? So the official story was Eric Holder was accused of being a snitch, and this Nipsey Hussle, and this never made sense to me, but it was the official story. Nipsey Hussle felt like he needed to be the person to be like, hey man, you can't come around here if you got to show us that you're not a snitch. Now, I don't know in what world Nipsey Hussle, the guy who his brother, when you hear his brother speak, he did an interview with Big Boy, and he was saying, everything I just said about Drake, he was saying, because his brother is really smart, Black Sam. He was like, bro, Hussle was the primary operative. He's like, when we know Hussle's coming to the store, we got a guy at the front door, we got a guy on the side, everybody's got guns, like, and he's like the president. So it's basically, he was like, it's supposed to be somebody on the door, it's supposed to be somebody watching him when he comes, and all this type of stuff. Like, it's supposed to be ran like that. On this day, though, everybody kind of just dropped the ball, right? Now, like I said, the official story was they got in an argument. He left, came back, shot Nipsey Hussle because he was mad.
So who was the security, though?
This guy named Cowboy. It wasn't no official security. It was all people from the set.
So, okay, that's what I was at. Okay,
it was all homies and all people that he's employing, basically, but they're friends.
But he wasn't getting extorted, though.
I think when it came to Nipsey Hussle, the extortion fee was like, you're repping Rolling 60s. And in order for you to do that,
I need some money.
I need some money. If you want to, you saying it in your songs and you want to be on this, you got to get extorted just like everybody else because you're doing more than anybody.
The street, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You got Crenshaw on the shirt. You selling Crenshaw shirts.
Yeah.
So the extortion fee was like, yeah, we have a business music contract, but also
it's my hood still.
Yeah, you got to give me some money.
Yeah, I'm a big homie.
And basically, I feel like in Nipsey's mind, he's like, I'm doing more for this shit than anybody, so I'm not giving you anything. I mean, like I'm still from 60s, but like I'm not paying you to be from 60s. And Biggie was like, all right, bet. Well then we got to get down. And he came and took the equipment and all this stuff. This is 2017. Mm-hmm. Now we fast forward to 2019. He's shot and killed outside of his store. The official story is Nipsey Hussle thought this guy might have been a snitch and he wanted to see paperwork. And the guy was so offended that he came back and shot Nipsey Hussle like 5-6 times. Everybody ran. This guy, Cowboy, all these guys, they ran. Nobody was. And again, we talk about this and other things where it's like, bro, if this guy's not alive anymore, everything goes away. The idea that you run and leave this dude is crazy to me because like
real security,
you're in his store. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're in his store. Like if he this is the money. And I'm sure Black Sam doesn't look at his brother that way, but the protocol that they have in place is because he's the money.
You protect this.
That's my brother.
At all costs.
This is the head of the snake.
100%.
And these dudes ran off and he got shot in front of his store by himself. Everybody ran away. But when Black Sam breaks it down, and he does it brilliantly in this Big Boy interview. I don't have the clip fired up, but I know a lot of it verbatim.
Was he there? He wasn't there though, right?
Black Sam wasn't there.
He came late or something.
So this is the official story, right? This is the unofficial story. The unofficial story is there's this guy that goes by the name of like Cousin Sherry or something like that. I can't remember his name. So this is getting right.
It's a woman.
That's a guy.
Oh, okay.
He's cool. He's cool with Big U. He's from the set. He had came home from prison, not that day, but not long before.
Mm-hmm.
He called, allegedly, he calls Nipsey and was like, Nip, man, you know, I've been home for a little bit. I know you said you was going to look out for me and get me some clothes and get me right. Because, I just came home. This is something Nipsey's famous for doing. Anybody he knows, he just came home, he get you some white tees, get you fresh. Get you on some marathon clothes, get you right. Especially if you're from the hood. So Nipsey's like, all right, bet. Like, I'm not far from the store. I'll come meet you up there.
So this was an impromptu
last minute. So he came basketball short. This is all on record. He was in some basketball shorts. He didn't have a gun on him. Things that again, there's normal protocol, but the shit was so funny style. Like everything was like, oh, last minute just happened to go be. He wasn't planning on going to the store. He just happened to be shooting by the store. So even just shooting by the store, they might not be on protocol because people might be at lunch break. Like it's just you came so impromptu.
So with no security.
It's always, I guess technically it's always security because.
But it wasn't plans.
It wasn't planned. Like if it's like, no, I'm coming to the store at 3:30 today.
Right.
It wasn't like that. It was like, I'm coming up there to meet this guy that I'm cool with, who's also cool with Big U, which is important, even though it's all alleged. But it's important to note that this guy's cool with Big U. Also, Eric Holder, they're all from 60s.
Right.
Eric Holder, his big homie, also is Big U. Even though he's a smoker, his big homie's Big U. Right. So the only reason allegedly that Nipsey Hussle was at his store was to give some clothes to this guy, Cousin Sherry or whatever his name is. And it just so happens that during this time when he gets to the store, Eric Holder just happens to walk up to the store.
Yeah, that's I didn't know this. Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of remember now. It's been a while now because you refreshing my memory. So it's like now I remember that he wasn't even supposed to be there that day, and this dude Eric Holder's shitty was just happened to be that is odd now,
right?
Yeah.
So he just happened to come to the store, right? He just happened to come to the store, and what happened was unofficially, Eric Holder called Nipsey a rat, and that's how the altercation started. And Eric Holder called Nipsey a rat, and famously, if you go back and look, this came from Big U. Big U has started calling Nipsey a rat. So he comes up to Nipsey, pushing a rumor that is coming from Big U.
Yeah, but do you believe that this was a provoking type of something to say to kind of get in, to kind of make it seem like this was an argument, than it being actually about who's a rat?
Yes.
Because now that we know the story, or this unofficial story, I go like, this seems more of him trying to get a reaction out of Nipsey to kind of make it look like. Now, all the shit that's coming out with Big U is like, this seemed like this was a planned killing where it was like, it needs to look like there was an argument between these two dudes.
He was going to do what he was going to do regardless.
You can't, he just happened to be, come on now.
Happened to roll up when you happen to be at the store at this time and everything. But again, they get an argument. He leaves. He comes back in a red shirt.
Right. But everybody,
you can go watch the interview, bro. Black Sam's telling Big Boy on Slauson and Crenshaw, you can't buy a red shirt. It's a Crip neighbor. You can't go to a. So he is camera footage of him being at the store talking to Nipsey in one shirt, him coming back in a red shirt. His brother's like, to me in my mind, that's the duck off. I come back, make it look like another rival hood killed Nipsey as a trophy. Why would you go and change into a red shirt? Where did you get the red shirt from? So you must have had a red shirt on you.
Yeah.
No, you must have planned on changing into a red shirt because you can't just go around the corner and buy a red shirt. That's what his point was. Like, you can't just go get a red. You can't just be like, come back 10 minutes later from the store down the street with a red shirt. You can't do it. They don't sell red shirts in the neighborhood. So allegedly, this guy Eric Holder just so happened to have a red shirt on, to change into, come back. So the theory is that he came, scoped the scene out, got into a little argument because Nipsey was out there, but was able to think about it. I get in the argument, who comes out? Yeah. If I'm able to get in an argument with Nipsey Hussle, nobody comes out like with a gun in my face, they must be lacking because.
Yeah. And I can identify everybody because I know all these people here.
Yep. So I come make a little scene. Just the guy that's in here selling shirts, cowboy or whatever he's doing. That's all. That's the only person that come out, pop his head out while I'm yelling at this man. Are we yelling at each other? Okay, bet. Leave, come back in the red shirt, do what he does. Gets arrested. Then over the course of that week, they went and killed some of that dude's family.
Yeah, but then he threw. I also saw that he also threw the red shirt. Like they found the red shirt like around the corner.
That I don't know.
That's
but
what
yeah, probably. Yeah, he probably took it off because you in a crip neighborhood. You got it.
Yeah.
So it's like we
But
look.
to make it seem like it was a rival gang, he threw the red shirt and they found the red shirt. It was like, oh well, this might have been a rival gang because the video that I saw before it happened, he didn't have a shirt on. Right. He like had a video of him in the liquor store where he was like all distressed and shit.
Yeah,
he didn't have a shirt on.
Right,
well, he didn't have a red shirt on.
So
he was like pacing back and forth and shit. He might have been on some shit already, but like trying to gear himself up to
probably
do this.
Probably got geeked up to commit this crazy murder, bro.
Yeah,
because you're going down. You going down as one of the most disgusting people in the history of the city, bro. You killed Nipsey Hussle in his own neighborhood.
Yeah,
I just don't know. There's no official proof to say like how much money can you pay a guy to do something like that. But the unofficial story is Big U sent that. And when you go off of Rayshawn Williams, sorry, you go off of Rayshawn Williams, diss track, playing with his money. So Nipsey is saying, I'm not going to pay you this extortion fee anymore. Rayshawn Williams using his studio time, using his Airbnb. But like, yeah, being extorted, diss track, all these things, so much of them match up to Big U's MO.
But that's a nasty dude,
DPs. Bro. Yeah. So like, I have to imagine, I would hope Big U isn't dumb enough, but there's evidence to the contrary based on in this indictment that like in 2017, if Nipsey Hussle gets in that car, does he get killed? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Rayshawn Williams got in the car. Now, Rayshawn Williams wasn't Nipsey Hussle.
Right.
Because 2017, Nipsey Hussle was still Nipsey Hussle to the city. He might not have been as world or like country, like nationally known, but in LA, Nipsey Hussle was Nipsey Hussle in 2017. He had already broken down so many borders. He was doing songs with him and YG were working together. That was unheard of. Because YG is from a blood, he's from a blood neighborhood. So Nipsey could go to his neighborhood, YG could go to his neighborhood, and vice versa. He had done so many monumental things. Killing Nipsey Hussle in 2017 would have been crazy.
But he had Black Sam though. Black Sam is the reason for him not to get in that car though.
Yes.
Because he was saying he was gonna go. Also,
yeah, Nipsey was like, as long as we saying we gonna go somewhere else and fight, because he didn't turn down Fades.
Yeah,
I will go fight with y'all, but as long as that's what we doing. But we don't know. And the person who's involved in this case, that is the murder in this case, got in the car with Big U.
So they end up killing. Is that true? Would they end up killing like that dude Eric Holder's like some of his family or something like that? Was it like
yeah?
But that's so. Even if say we go with this story that we just laid out. This what happened. For Big U to do something like that, knowing the outcome of that dude Eric Holder doing that, his family getting killed, and you not, I don't know, maybe protect his family. Like that's crazy. That's a nasty person right there.
He allegedly,
right? I'm just saying, right?
He allegedly would have just used this guy for his own means, and with no regard for his family or him.
Man.
Yeah. So, listen, Eric Holder's a murderer.
For sure.
If he was sent
I'm gonna fuck.
Yeah, if he was sent by Big U, the guy who is making money off this guy, it's like it would be like if like the people who are the CEOs of McDonald's, if you found out they killed Ronald McDonald. Now, I'm not saying Nipsey Hussle was a clown or none of that, but I'm just saying like, who's putting on for this thing that you are the head of bigger and more than this guy?
Yeah, you should be proud of something like that, right?
But when but what do we say? Nobody's bigger than the program. So it's like, yeah, you might be repping it, but you're not repping it. You repping it almost like you want to take it from me. I think he felt threatened. I think it was like Nipsey Hussle wants to be from Rolling 60s, not pay me, be more famous than me, be more liked than me. How am I Big U if it's somebody that's in my neighborhood that's bigger than me, more money than me, more influence? That can't work.
Getting greedy.
You got bigger than the program.
You getting greedy. Why don't you look at that as a positive and go like, we can change a lot? I'm thinking of somebody who's irrational.
Oh, he didn't want to change. Yeah, he didn't want
I
to
don't know. I just. This is a good person. I'm trying to create, and I know
Exactly.
that's not in Big U's head.
Say,
He's
man,
like,
me and Nipsey, we could stop gang violence tomorrow. He's like,
Yeah,
I don't
you
wanna
can-
stop
you can.
gang- I don't want to stop gang violence.
guys, you change lives. You can change your life, but like, it's like, no, I don't want to do that.
No, I like.
I don't
what
want
I'm
to partner.
doing.
I don't want to. There's no president and there's no vice president around.
No, that's not how this works. Yeah, this is a dictatorship. I don't have no second in command. But and this is a hot take. That everything that I've said is alleged. But my hot take is Nipsey Hussle had been contacted by the very same, like, similar to the grid program that Big U got hired by from the city to like stop gang violence. Nipsey Hussle got hired by the same or was supposed to meet with those same people. And I think part of that was like Big U was like, well, this dude really wants to end some shit. So if they meet him, they might give him my money for me to be pretending to be trying to.
Because I don't want to end this shit.
I don't want to end this shit.
Yeah.
But Nipsey really is. Nipsey's everything I'm pretending
for the
to be.
people. Yeah.
So no, he can't come in here and be like, I'm the Crip, but I also want to end gang violence and all this type of shit, because that's my spiel. But he really means it. So nah, you trying to get bigger than the program, and now you trying to take money out of my mouth. You know, you trying to take food off my plate. I don't appreciate that.
So it's a lot more. Allegedly, it's a lot more than
It's deep,
just
bro.
studio time and
oh man,
that unique contract.
It's the unique contract is just scratching the surface. But I think Big U wanted to be tied up to Nipsey and so many. He wanted to basically like, he wanted the big homie Nipsey Hussle. And Nipsey Hussle was like, I did all this shit on my own.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Can't
paying
blame
you
him.
any money anymore.
Yeah.
I know I did it for a few years. Now you got me up in this 10-year contract. The 10-year contract is almost over with. So I will no longer be paying you any extortion fees. And when this contract is up, we done. Now, what that looks like, I don't know. Like, if he's not killed, can he still push 60s? And I don't know what that looks like, but we'll never know, because when everything fell apart and he no longer saw a viable way to make money off Nipsey Hussle turned up dead. And then Big U's on interviews being like, I had a 10-year contract. He died in 2019. That was the year the contract was up. Hello. Coincidence? They laughing at long live Nip. Yeah, man. Hey, long live Nip, man. Ha ha ha. Right.
That video gives me chills. It give me goosebumps.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna play that real quick. There's a video of Big U on an Instagram live. People going to people's Instagram live, man, RIP to a legend. And he starts laughing at people for saying that. Like, he's like, they saying long live Nipsey in the comments. Yeah, long live Nip.
Wait, what you waiting on, though? You don't know what you waiting on, though, nigga. What you waiting on? You got to tell us what you waiting on. Yeah, my mama broke you with a justice for Dip.
Your boy would have been there like, yeah,
On my mama, boss, swear to God, everybody that was showing this shit.
You did.
Nothing put that nigga by himself.
You
That was
did.
not long after it happened.
I guess that's yeah. Justice for Nip. And then I guess he said his catchphrase, which is you dig. Interesting catchphrase.
Fucking guy, man.
Oh, can you hit the trash music for me one time? You dig. You dig.
Yeah, that shit. But I want to know if now I don't know if we're going to get into this. We've touched on this conversation about like what happened, what other people's thoughts about what happened to Nip, as far as other gang members who live that lifestyle where it was like there was some people who heard about the story of the Nip, the tragic killing, and was like, that dude Eric Holder kind of did what he was. If we going off the argument that they had, supposedly, that dude Eric Holder kind of did what he was supposed to do as a street dude.
That's based off the official story. Based
Yes.
on the official story, the argument is if Nipsey Hussle called this man a rat to his face,
Yeah,
as far as gang code goes, you
Right.
can't let that stand. You can't let somebody call you a rat to your face.
right.
But if
And-
none of that's true,
Right.
Where do we go from there?
But to hear the opinions and the people trying to justify the killing is kind of weird to
Lost
hear
people.
talk
Lost.
about that. Where it's like
that's a bunch of lost people, bro.
he kind of did what he was supposed to. He kind of, from a street dude, somebody call you a snitch, he kind of did what he was supposed to do.
He was supposed
as far
to kill
as the
him
game.
right there
And
on the
like
spot. That's lost.
How can you?
That's tragic.
Yeah, it's tragic, but how can you? I get it, man. I don't know any about any of this shit.
I don't
but
know those rules.
I don't know those rules, but to hear that, it's like that's sad, man.
Yeah.
Like,
there
he
was
was
a lot of
supposed- like,
people.
what?
There's
Like,
there's a lot of people in gangs, but like in gangs and over 40. That's the saddest part. Like you over 40 pushing this kind of mentality. Like, yeah, man, you call me a snitch. You don't got no paperwork. We supposed to get down right there. I got to kill you. You can't just call me a snitch. You gonna kill a man in front of his business? And this is, again, I just told you the unofficial story. The official story is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Nipsey was like, man, I heard you was a rat, right? Which is like, what? This man is M's up, coming to a store to do a kindness for somebody that just got out of prison. And but again, I think what it was at the time, it was believable because we had seen videos of Nipsey Hussle at award shows and people telling him he can't be over here. He smacked the shit out of security.
Yeah.
Nipsey Hussle just was a guy that was like, I'm standing on business wherever I'm at. So I guess it was believable to go, well, if Nipsey Hussle felt like this dude was a snitch, he don't want him at his store, he was going to be the one to say something about it. He wasn't going to go get security. So it was believable because of who Nipsey was. But to me, when you watch the camera footage of they got the surveillance footage of like the whole thing, all the way to tragically the murder. I never want to see the footage again. But this man was killed on camera. They got him coming up to him, whatever discussion they had, leave, come back. I just don't believe that in that first conversation, Nipsey initiated the conversation and was like, man, I don't think you're supposed to be around here because you're a snitch.
Yeah.
That don't even sound like the way you start a conversation with somebody. Especially when you just popped up to the store real quick. It's like, I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
The timing of it just feels off. Like you just happen to get a call from this dude. Can you come meet me at the store right now? I'm up here. And you said you was going to look out for me. And then right when I come to do a favor for somebody, this dude just happens to be blah, da, da, like Ezel from Friday. Like, let's just happen to be walking around the strip and going to give me a marathon shirt. He just happened to be at that very moment when Nipsey happened to come through. This guy happens to be coming through and they get into a discrepancy.
Yeah.
There's parts from the unofficial story that make more sense to me than Nipsey Hussle checking this guy for wanting to be at his store and he's not supposed to be because he's a rat or something like that. So more will be revealed, like this case is ever unfolding. But yeah, Nipsey Hussle actually, he died that night. He never made it to the hospital. And in 2022, in July, Eric Holder was convicted of first-degree murder for the murder of Nipsey Hussle and was sentenced to 60 years in prison. Rolling 60? 60 years to life in prison. And the case garnered significant media attention and sparked discussions about gun violence, community safety, and the impact of Nipsey Hussle's work in his neighborhood, which we discussed this back then in 2019 of like, is this worth it? Like, why stick? We had all those kind of discussions too. And famously, he had a hell of a service at Staples Center, formerly Staples Center, now Crypto Arena. But his funeral was held at the Staples Arena.
Yeah.
He got killed by some tweaker over allegedly an argument. That's the official story. The unofficial story is much more despicable. And now that Big U's been arrested, I gotta say on record, I believe everything about the unofficial story.
But did Eric Holder never came out and was like,
no, I was sent. None of that ever happened. But now he has no. Let's just say Big U was put money on his books. Let's just say again, like if everything's speculation, let's just speculate a little bit further. Let's just say Big U was buying his protection, but also when he's calling like, "Big man, they killed my cousin." I don't know who was killed, but I heard that there was some retaliation on the street level against Eric Holder's family. So let's say Eric Holder's calling Big U like, "Man, they killed my cousin." Man, that's crazy. I can't believe that. Whole time Big U is like sanctioning that too.
Yeah.
In my mind, I don't know any of this to be official, but let's just say Big U's put money on his books, making sure he's protected in prison for as much as he can. And now Big U's arrested. Money goes away.
Yeah.
Protection goes away. Now it's like, maybe I'll say something now. Or maybe Eric Holder turns up dead in the next 3 months.
Man, that would be crazy.
Speculation, right?
Yeah.
It's just making up stuff in our heads, but let's see. I will say now, I would not be surprised if within the next 3 months, either we hear new testimony from Eric Holder, or he said something or whatever, or Eric Holder turns up dead in a prison cell. That's just speculation, but I just feel like that's what's coming. And if that happens, you go, oh yes, that's a loose end being tied up. And I believe everything that I just said now.
Yeah.
That happens in the next 3 months, I believe everything I just said. No speculation, no allegedly. If that man turns up dead, because he's been in prison now for 2 years, I can't imagine you having a bigger target on your back than being one of the most hated people in the history of California. Who doesn't want to kill Eric Holder, but somehow he still continues to be safe, right?
Yeah.
Now, if Big U gets
He got to
arrested,
your family, but did somehow they never got to you yet? Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So, like, if he all of a sudden this year ends up dead, that says a lot. That speaks volumes. But again, that was all speculation. But also, again, to throw it back to Black Sam, to show you how much Black Sam feels Nipsey Hussle was betrayed by his own hood. Black Sam took everything out of Crenshaw and Slauson. He moved the store because
Black
Sam,
okay.
Yeah, Black Sam felt like in their mind they were like, we gonna push the marathon continues and all this type of stuff. And Black Sam was like, y'all not profiting nothing off my brother. Black Sam has never come out and said Big U killed my brother. But if you go watch that Big Boy interview, he was real meticulous about how he framed it. But he essentially said, my brother was killed by his own gang. But he said it in the most political way he could say it because he's not in the gang and he's not a snitch. So he said it in the most professional way, like, this is just what I feel happened. Let me lay it out for you. Eric Holder did it this way. Why would he do it this way? And my brother, it's always supposed to be somebody with a gun. My brother just happened to pop. My brother never moves like this. It feels like a setup. And that's how I feel about it. That's how he laid it out. And
So what about the dude that called him? Did he get locked up too?
He's on an interview with Big U telling the story about how he's like, oh, I didn't even know Nipsey Hussle like that. So this is a clip from a YouTube channel called Toxic Media where he lays out
That's
this
the one
guy.
I was just looking at. Okay.
I've been saying Cousin Sherry, but this guy tells you his name and everything like that.
Been lying and real close to Big U, and Eric Holder, who coincidentally showed up calling Nipsey a snitch. Oh, nah, I got the whole setup, allegedly. There's about 60 pieces, but I just put it together. See, rumor is that Cousin Kerry called Nipsey down to the shop for some t-shirts. He said he just got out, which is the reason why Nipsey went down to the shop all of a sudden without telling anybody. Man, check out Cousin Kerry's story. First, he said he randomly saw Nipsey at the store and that he just got out, and then he switches it up and said, nah, I didn't know Nipsey was gonna be there. And he also said he got out 7 months ago. And check out Big U interrupting also. It seemed like Cousin Kerry wasn't getting the story right.
So did you know of Nipsey before, while you were locked up before, or any of that sort?
At all. Not at all.
At all.
For anybody who doesn't know what that voice is, that's DJ Vlad. We're not going to get into some of the stuff we talked about last episode, but it's just funny how all of these clips and stuff that tie back into all this violence lead back to No Jumper or DJ Vlad.
Yeah.
Got it.
Somebody gave me a couple of pictures, say, hey, that's the new rapper. I said, is that right? Yeah. So when I got out, I took a selfie with him. He's a celebrity. Everybody's taking selfies. Let me take one.
Day of the incident. Can you describe what happened exactly?
Me and my...
Now, I just want to clear some stuff up before I keep playing. He's saying something about the one time he met Nipsey Hussle. It was like everybody was taking pictures of him, and he was like, I didn't know who the hell he was, but they were saying he was some new rapper. So I just took a picture with him too.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what year this is, but if this is the year Nipsey was killed, that's one of the craziest lies.
So everybody just don't know everybody in this gang, or?
No, he's lying.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's crazy for someone.
Yeah,
Like,
I never knew rapper. I don't know.
Like,
Everybody was taking pictures.
You don't
with
know
him.
who this person is from your own. He's blown up, and you don't know. Like, what? What are you talking
A
about?
big blue Crenshaw hoodie on. You're like, who's this?
nephew were going up the street to console somebody else's parents because they just lost their parents. So he said, you don't have to keep wearing that shirt. I was like, what? He said, this shirt. I said, it's clean. He said, look, it's dingy. You in the new world. You're not in prison no more. You can pull it right. He said, matter of fact, they go Nipsey in the lot, so you could pull right in and grab you a fresh white shirt. I'm like, okay. So when I go in there, they didn't have the white ones that I wanted. And I said, when y'all gonna get that in again? He said, well, they go Nipsey in a lot. Go talk to him. And I talked to him. He said, that'll be about a week, bro.
He's describing the day, the moment or the day Nipsey Hussle was killed. Nipsey Hussle at this point is a bona fide celebrity. And I know he's a man of the people, but he's basically saying, I went in there just randomly to get some new clean clothes. And the guy at the store was like, hey, bro, that's Nipsey right there. Go ask him to give you some shirts. This man, I know it's his store, but like, that's not how it works. Like, he's not there to sell you shirts. So like, you was going to walk up to the guy and be like, hey, man, I'm looking for an extra large in the whites. That's not how this works. And it should be, I have a hard time believing there's not people there that wouldn't be like, nah, bro, you talk to me. I'll go get you. The shirts will be in next week. You don't go talk to Nipsey Hussle about that.
I said, okay. And when I said it, it was all bad.
Okay. Because I guess what, this is why I kind of want to clarify this with you on the phone. Like, the story that was circulating was that you and Nipsey knew each other and he was meeting you down there to give you some clothes and you guys had some sort of prior relationship. But what you're saying is that you had no idea, you guys didn't know each other at all. You just showed up and you ran into each other randomly.
No, I know him because I took a few pictures with him.
Right.
Like that. But so the parole officer was like, well, you have gang affiliation. I said, look, man, I know Nipsey about as much as I know you. You my parole officer. I met you. We've talked a few times. That's as far as I know him.
Yeah.
Now, when I first came home, Nipsey heard that I was home, and he filled up my little sister's backseat of her car.
No, he just said, I never knew him. I just happened to be at a store with a dingy shirt on trying to get a new shirt. Now he's saying when I first came home, Nipsey did something for my sister.
You. Nipsey, he always look out for people.
Now Big U steps in because he's fucking up the lie.
And he filled up my little sister's backseat of her car.
This Big U. Nipsey, he always look out for people when they come home. You know what I mean? He don't always be at the store all the time. But if he at the store and somebody just paroled, he don't have to know him to look out for him. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He'll hear somebody that just came home, and he might tell somebody that's working in the store that day, look out for the homie, he just came home. So that's just what kind of person he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's very important in this whole situation. That this is what Nipsey was just doing for everybody that was just coming home. Everybody.
Yeah.
How I think. And Vlad is good at doing what he just did.
Oh, yeah, just let you hang yourself. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what I know to be the truth, and then you can either refute it or catch yourself up in a lie.
But he also, the part I'm talking about is when he goes like, yeah, that's what he did as a good person. And they go like, yeah. And they kind of like, I'm baiting you so you can keep going with this story, this lie that you just told.
Yeah, so you can do more. So I accept that. I know you just lied, but that's cool. Yeah, so that guy, Cousin Carrie, is the guy I was describing. I kept calling him Cousin Sherry. But
I'm like, that's crazy.
Now
Sherry.
this is from 2019. This interview. This is after Nipsey's dead, right? Mm-hmm. This guy's coming out and being like, I never even knew who Nipsey Hussle was. Took a couple of pictures with him.
Man,
didn't know him at all. When I came home, he did something for my sister. But I mean, he knew my sister. He didn't know me. I guess it's his logic. Like, he's trying to say I didn't know him, but he's doing something for your sister. And then DJ Vlad comes up and is like, yeah, because there's this rumor that the only reason he was at the store that night is because you asked him for some clothes. And he's like, no, I just happened to be there. Just a coincidence. And right when I was about to go ask him if he had when he was going to get the new white shirts in, he got shot. That's what that man just said. Everybody just happened to be there this night. There's just no such thing as coincidence on this scale. I cannot be convinced. Eric Holder just happened to be walking by the store. Cousin Carrie just happened to be at the store. Nipsey Hussle just happened to be at the store when he would never be at the store at this time. Basketball shorts on, no gun on him, no protocol. There's no guy on the door with a gun. Everything's in shambles and last minute and whatever, but it's all coincidence. Eric Holder just happened to have a red shirt just tucked in his pants because he just had it on him. Then he put the shit on, shot him, then took the shirt off, threw it in whatever.
So did he have a mask on? He didn't have there was no mask or?
I don't
He just
remember.
pulled up with a red. Because that
He
sounds
might-
kind of great.
He might have had a T-shirt tied around his face or something like that, but I don't remember. You know, but yeah. So there was some issues. So like I said, Black Sam moved the Marathon clothing store, and he tried to get his. Nipsey also had a child with a woman before he had a child with Lauren London. He had a daughter. Him and his family tried to get his daughter out. They tried to file for like full custody because they didn't want the gang to use the daughter, putting her on podcasts and all this type of stuff. But the child's mom is from the set. She's got cousins she's got cousins in the 60s and all this type of stuff. So there's some discrepancy with his first daughter of like, is she riding with her mom? Which most likely, yes. And now that Big U's arrested, maybe the concern is dwindled a little bit. But yeah, I mean, they can have this girl doing all kind of interviews and whatever for money. And Black Sam was trying to make sure that didn't happen because he's now the steward of his brother's legacy.
Right.
So I think that's about all we have at the moment. Like I said, Big U is in custody. The RICO is unfolding. I think he's due to be arraigned or something first week of April 10th or something like that. And we will see how this plays out. But I think this was just a fascinating look into like beneath the glitz and glamour. Now, the rap scene isn't as glitzy and glamorous as it used to be, but it still has this like facade of access and money and fame and women and all this type of stuff. And it's like, man, the reality is most of these dudes are being broke and extorted. Like most of these dudes are broke, extorted, and not anything that they're pretending to be. And that's the reality.
Yeah.
And behind all of that is people like Big U and Jay Prince and Trick in Detroit, Michigan. These guys that are like, everything y'all rap and pretend to be, I'm that. And y'all have to pay me if y'all want to try to put that mask on in my city. If y'all want to wear that masquerade and be the toughest guy in the world, you have to pay. And like I said, I played that Big U clip in the beginning. I don't disagree with the idea of like, there's people who are really about that life who get robbed in LA.
Yeah.
They get their get back if they survive. But why should you get to walk around with jewelry on as a guest and be in the most dangerous dice games and all this type of shit? And there's guys that live here. They are known. They got a name in the streets. And if they wear their jewelry's not safe. If you want to have any level of safety that we can provide, you got to pay for it. But like, my whole thing is like, why do you need to go there?
Right.
So that's a question we might never get an answer to.
It's always a good time kind of breaking down these stories and kind of getting, all the behind the scenes type stuff, because a lot of stuff I didn't have no idea who Big U was until these interviews started hitting the social media platforms. But to hear the story and being like, damn, is this what really happened to Nipsey? Is not just that simple story. They put it on on the news outlets where it was an argument about some gang stuff and then he was shot and killed and that's it. Because that's what I believe. I mean, I don't know anything about this gang stuff to be like, from the jump to be like, nah, that don't even sound right. Yeah, that don't even sound right. So, but to kind of hear this and being like, hearing some other stuff about stuff revolving around the whole murder, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe at this point.
Yeah, I believe more will be revealed. And again, for clarification, the murder of Nipsey Hussle is not tied up in this RICO at all. Any dots that are being connected by us or any other outlets is purely speculative, and I don't think that we'll get answers directly, even though I do think more will be revealed, but I don't think it will be directly from this case because it has nothing to do with this case.
Yeah.
There's just so many similarities.
Right. And people that's involved.
Yes. So that is why I believe more will be revealed. But the end result of this will not be Big U being convicted of the murder of Nipsey Hussle in this case, because that's not what he's being charged with. I just want to make sure that's clear to everybody. But yeah, man, absolutely wild situation out there in Los Angeles. And another thing that's wild before we get out of here, the people that are currently in prison are calling No Jumper from prison to tell on themselves more. Everything we said last week is unfolding in real time. The clout disease, the self, I don't know what to call it. Everything's for content. They're calling from prison to like clarify their charges and talk about the case on the jail phones.
Yeah.
And Adam 22 is loving it.
Shut up.
He's loving it, bro. He's raking in the dough. No Jumper hasn't been this hot in years. Every day they got videos, 250,000. Did Brick Baby snitch on Loose Cannon to get Big U to every title is like that. 10 videos a day. They're going to ride this. He's going to ride this into $100 million. Over the next 6 months to a year, he might make $100 million talking about this situation.
The one 7 hours ago was, is Wack next to get indicted?
Wack 100, another player involved in this situation. Another whole guy with a whole list of other things. But yes, he's tied up in it. He's tied up in the Big U thing. And they're all calling No Jumper, using it as a platform to get their message out about their gang.
I'm just not a fan of this, man. It just makes, I don't know, man. I mean,
it's nasty.
I feel like I don't want to feel bad for these people because like they're all adults. They are responsible for their, their decisions and whatnot. But like, yeah, I gotta open your eyes, man. Look, and you just looking at the YouTube page, it's like, look, bro, what are we doing out here?
There's an element of entrapment to it. We said, I'm saying entrapment this week. Last week, we said instigation. Both are true. He's instigating and he's also like baiting you to throw your life away. The questions he asked on there is crazy, man. Oh, yeah, I heard something about you in one of your songs. You said you clapped a guy on 5th Street and threw the gun in the gutter. And they're like, nah, man, I said on 17th Street. You're like, what? Why would you say that?
Now, does he pay his guests?
Let's say he gives some dude who has 1,500 views on a YouTube channel $5,000 to come and tell a story about killing somebody that gets 100,000 views. The $1,500 more than pays for itself, and that's his MO. Now I don't know if he pays people that just roll up for interviews, but his weekly talent, who is his staff is crazy. It's probably dwindled, but he's got all these random people. There's so many people that work for No Jumper that are all like in LA gangs and all this stuff. And they're just constantly on different podcasts talking in his studio. He probably pays them like $1,500 a week, gives them some free clothes and whatever free merchandise he gets from sponsors. And they're like, shit, man, it's a good gig. I get free weed and I get to hang out in the studio and I get to say I'm on No Jumper, the clout, you know?
Who was like, if you just like, these headlines are insane, bro. These.
Find me one that's not crazy over the last like 24 hours. I bet they're all like, did Loose Cannon throw the gun away? Like everything is.
This one says, some girl says SKG says Nipsey set her up to get beat up by Big U while she was pregnant.
That's just nasty.
It's like, y'all, it's like, I'm like, you got it. And it's like, these people, and I just really don't want to be that person, bro. To like, if you're going to go on a podcast, you need to ask the necessary questions of like pre-production stuff. Like, I feel like they don't do, I feel like Adam French was like, they're not going to ask me about this. So I'm not, we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Let's go in there and the mic is hot and we'll ask them the question in the moment and see what they say instead of being like, you come on there, okay, what's going to be asked? No. There's so you know kind of what, it's like, they just like, nah. You know.
As a matter of fact, if you were to come on that type of shit, I think Adam 22 would be like, I brought you here to ask you about that specific thing. So get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't have anything else to talk to you about.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't care about you. I don't care about your music. I don't care about anything. I came here to ask you that we can talk about that for the first 10 minutes, but you know why I brought you here. I brought you here to talk about this. And if you don't want to talk about that, then you can get the hell up out of here. Yeah. And they let him say some crazy shit too. Like, man, he'll be like, yeah, on the set, cuz, ha 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 ha. Like he's mocking them. You gonna let him just disrespect the set like that, cuz? They let him sit back and say shit like that. Cause it's like, I'm just a civilian. He gets to do that. I'm just a civilian, man. I don't know. Meanwhile, he's running a whole gang operation from his business. Everybody in there got flags on, guns in their waist, talking the craziest. Oh,
Thousands of views. Kid, this man is getting money off of this. Damn, this is insane.
it's a nasty situation that continues to unfold. But this will be where we end. Maybe we'll revisit in a little bit when we get some new answers, some convictions, or some new breaking evidence in the case. But for now, this has been the dive into the tyrannical reign of Big U. Absolutely wild. One thing that I also find to be interesting before we go, the U.S. government does this kind of shit too, right? Let's say there's a country out there that has a good level of oil reserves, and their president is very stern on being about his country first. The United States government will start a proxy war and get that president killed, and then put who they want to be in there. And then all of a sudden that country wants to work with the United States and gives them access to the oil. Now, I bring that up to say this.
But can you saying that type of stuff on this mic, man? Are we in the good hands or?
Yeah, it's fine, bro. They don't pay attention. They don't pay attention to people like us. But but what if Big U was stopping a whole lot of chaos? Because there's order to his chaos. That's one thing I'm interested to see, like, because you take Big U out, you create a vacuum. Now there's a space of like everybody has to try to move up. Oh, it's all this money being left on the table. I want to get that. Now there's bloodshed in order to take that spot as the number one guy that gets to extort all the rappers and extort the businesses and everything like that. So it's like Big U obviously has done a lot of terrible things, but what if he was stopping what if he brought order to the chaos is my point. So who now
unless he's still calling shots from inside, which I think is like,
it's possible.
It's possible, yes. I think he's still doing that, bro. I think somebody from the movies I've seen, unless we talking about the movie Penguin, that's a different situation. But like somebody who's like the top dog like that, they definitely have one or two people who's terrified of them and kind of will do anything they say.
Or they have a second in command that can represent them on the streets.
Sure. Unless again, like I said, the movie Penguin was like, you got to do working under you, but he's like, no, yeah, I'll do what you say until I'm waiting for my special moment to take over this shit. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think both are possible.
Yeah.
But I think he's still definitely calling the shots.
What if there's some rolling 60s penguin who set this whole thing in motion? And now it's like, it's my time. Now it's my time. Made all the phone calls, sent those dudes up the no jumper, and got Big U sent up the river. And now it's like he calls a meeting and it's like, hey, cuz.
He never come home.
It's my time now.
Yeah.
You know, it's possible, like you said.
And he already earned the stripes. He been doing shit already in the streets.
Yeah.
Got respected. I don't know. Especially if he ain't never coming home.
Somebody, that's my thing. That's why I posed the question. It's like, it's not just like, okay, well, the Wicked Witch is dead. Now there's no more crime. No, the crime continues.
Yeah.
So is it now just lawless crime? Nobody has to be put at bay because they know, well, hey, man, we can't go too crazy because we got to kick back some money to Big U. Now with no Big U, it's like, no, man, I know I'm a low level guy, but I'm going to go rob a big Andre 3000 or, like stuff that's not supposed to happen. Like there's supposed to be a chain of command and now there's no chain of command.
Yeah. See, again, this is all stuff out of my wheelhouse. I have no idea.
For sure. I'm just
about, but I do think that, like you said, it is chain command. They already had that. That's already in place. This person if Big U goes under, they already got somebody
to step up. Got you. I understand. Well, yeah. We will see how things play out. But hey, man, this has been another episode of Affirmative Murder. Thank you guys for joining us for this ride. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a little different than what we usually do, but I enjoyed it. I thought this was fascinating and very poignant and topical and of the moment. And we don't usually do things like that, like kind of tap into the pulse of what's happening in the moment. So that was interesting. But yeah, man, we'll catch you guys next time. Be safe and if anybody comes looking to pay you for to get you to take your money for protection, just, go somewhere safe. Maybe that means you're in the wrong neighborhood. Just a little food for thought. See you guys next week.
Deuces.